Hello everyone, and welcome back to coverage of Grand Prix São Paulo for the MSEM format. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching the round 4 match between DrChillbrain and Lycodrake. Chillbrain is playing Grixis Thu'um, a deck which centers on the titular mechanic, which basically cheapens all of your dragon spells by 1 for each dragon you control and each dragon in your graveyard. So you play a bunch of spells to put dragon cards into your graveyard and then cheat out cheap dragons. In this case, looks like Chillbrain has gotten down at turn 3 Dwemer Dova, which is essentially a deck's Frogmite on steroids. On the opposite end of the table, we have Lycodrake, who's playing green-white counter Stompy. Currently has an Avatar of the Natural, and looks like if they had one more land, would be able to play a creature into an Event Horizon to remove this Dwemer Dova. But for now, they're going to have to kind of hold back and just take some damage, it looks like. But yeah, let's continue on with the rest of the match. Okay, so Lycodrake going to play the Anomalion. It enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter because of Avatar of the Natural's ability. It also grows and is now a 4/5, which means that it can attack through Dwemer Dova blocker. This also means that next turn, if Lycodrake drops a land, or sorry, it drops another creature, we'll be able to get the benefit of Crewmaster Gillo's ability, buffing all of his creatures by +2/+2. So Chillbrain is in a bit of a bind here. Does have Thu'um at 3 though, so we'll be able to cast or now actually won't be able to cast these. Never mind, I take it back. Not no actually no never mind. Yeah, we'll be able to cast these 7 drops with the 4 mana that they have. So we can either cast a Diving Dova or a Stormwing Dova. Probably want to cast a Diving Dova first for maximum value. Oh, it's going to Draconic Divulging first. I guess this is basically mana neutral because it puts a Thu'um card in your graveyard. Yes, if Thu'um wasn't a strong enough mechanic on its own, the Thu'um cards themselves count for future copies, which is why Dr. Chillbrain was able to play that for 1 mana, and why it was essentially mana neutral there for Chillbrain to play that and then cast a Thu'um spell. Yeah, and they actually don't have access to the mana to cast Stormwing Dova anymore, so their only out is play. Oh no, did I miscount? Or it might just be that Chillbrain valued holding up the single Winged Descent more than the Diving Dova, but they did have 4 Thu'um. Yeah, they would have been able to cast Diving Dova, but I think they chose to keep the Winged Descent up instead, which makes sense because Lycodrake does top deck the 4th land, so we'll be able to go Budding Companion, swing with Budding Companion, Event Horizon, the Dwemer Dova, and then swing for lethal. Chillbrain can kill one like the Avatar, but then still takes. Actually, you probably want to kill Gillo instead. But then you still take. Yeah, I don't know that there's a way that you don't take like at least 8 damage, or at least 7 to 8 damage here, and put yourself in a compromising position. And yeah, Lyco should Event Horizon on main or like before blocks here to be able to kill the Dwemer Dova, just to like go for the throat for lethal here. Event Horizon being one of the best removal spells in the format, and it gets exponentially better when you're playing a deck which aims to just dump its handful of creatures onto the battlefield. So Lyco is not actually going to play the Event Horizon yet, just going to swing with the Anomalion and the Avatar of the Natural. Chill is going to Winged Descent on the Avatar of the Natural, and then just take. In response, Lyco Event Horizons the Dwemer Dova. I actually think that this is probably a bad time to play it. You want to wait and see if Chillbrain will block with the Anomalion, or block the Anomalion and have it die first. And if not, you can just hold up the Event Horizon till Chillbrain's turn and then use it on attacks. So, oh no, wait. I guess the idea was that because you no longer control 4 creatures for Gillo, you want to just do it then. Okay. Yeah, it's not a until end of turn effect. So in that case, yeah, the Event Horizon makes sense to just crack it there. Lyco does have the 2nd Avatar of the Natural though, and another Event Horizon, so I don't know that Chillbrain has like good outs here, but they will be casting this top decked Profane Emissary to drop a 4/4 lifelinker. And then for 2 mana, can they cast anything else? They can keep up a Winged Descent because of the Polyp Pools, but nothing else really. Okay, they're gonna Oracle's Vision, Mills over a Profane Emissary and a Stormwing Dova, and it looks like a land. So Thu'um is one higher. So Chill now has does Chill is Thu'um, yeah, Thu'um is at 5, so Chill can now actually uh threaten just to like drop two dragons next turn. Lyco though is going to Event Horizon to kill the Profane Emissary. No blockers for you, and then play the Avatar of the Natural. ChillBrain does have Winged Descent, but then I think it's still enough for exactly no, because if ChillBrain kills the Anomalion, um, only takes 3 here. You could also kill the Gillo if you wanted to, but then you still take 5. Or no, you have to kill an Anomalion or Budding Companion because of Budding Companion's experience. So otherwise you take 6. So it has to kill an Anomalion or Budding Companion. So probably going to kill the Budding Companion and then take 4. Okay, so yeah, Winged Descent to kill the Budding Companion. Yeah, Gillo is incredibly powerful as essentially an overrun on a already very, very good 2-drop. Um, but there is that weakness of you need to maintain overwhelming board presence for it to work. Chillbrain still takes 4 damage there and goes down to 2 life. But next turn can play like what is I think Dovazire is actually the actual factual nuts top deck because without a removal spell here, Chillbrain is just kind of dead. Chillbrain has been having insane top decks this game, but I think that's kind of just the life of uh, Thu'um player. You're all about the high roll. So, and gets to free cast a Dwemer Dova. Yeah, this is absolutely the high roll. And then you probably just you can like because Stormwing Dova is a flash blocker, you probably just keep up Stormwing Dova and Dovazire, and is attacking with the Diving Dova. I guess the thought is you have a blocker in Dwemer Dova, Stormwing Dova, and Dovazire. And Lyco not hitting the 4th creature that they need to turn on Gillo is probably just going to run out the Theocracy to dig deeper now. So yep, Theocracy coming down. Okay, grabs an Ever-Gnawing Rat. Again, Gillo once more online. So now Chill kills Crewmaster Gillo and then eats both of Lyco's creatures. And then Lyco, I think Lyco is pretty much just dead there. In response to the Avatar and to Rat Trigger, Chill kills the Ever-Gnawing Rat? Am I missing something? Is this not just a huge punt? Because you play the... I guess you can play the Storming Dova, block everything except Gillo, and take only 1 damage. Oh, Lyco isn't even going to attack. It's just going to wait for the other Theocracy trigger. The problem is, yeah, Storming Dova coming down. Going to reroll each player into 3 new cards. And Chillbrain may get 2 lands, but does get a removal spell, and that's kind of what matters here. In fact, I don't even think they use it as remove. No, they actually just have lethal on board because you can just swing for 12 here. And yeah, I think that's lots of the problem with the like Lyco got so close, but when you're playing the Thu'um deck, you can just rely on top decking all of the answers you need because it digs so deep with Draconic Divulging, and then once you get to the mid game, basically all of your spells are free and are much larger than and are reasonably large enough that they can block and trade with other threats. So, yeah, so let's look at sideboards to see what Lycodrake can do to... Oh, no, never mind. We're going straight into game 2. I will open up sideboards over here, though, to see if there's something I can speculate on as we're getting into these hands. Well, it looks like Chillbrain did bring in... Oh, the Violent Collapses. Because all of Lycodrake's creatures start off small, it's quite useful to... but Chillbrain mulling to 5. I think that those are perfectly keepable hands. Chillbrain going to keep at 5. The double Profane Emissary is kind of filthy along with removal spells. And you can bottom... Oh no, Chillbrain bottoms one of the Profane Emissaries. I feel like you would much rather bottom like a Dovazire instead just because of how much pressure double Profane Emissary puts on your opponent. But that might just be me. Especially when Lyco does not have lots of removal. Yeah, Profane Emissary is one of the things that really helps the deck against aggro, as does the sideboard Violent Collapses. Because even though it can be slow and dirtly, you can also just oops into a 4/4 lifelinker that draws you a soul land. On Lycodrake's end, is going to play out the turn 1 Hierarch Ranger. Has a kind of a interesting hand here with the triple Hierarch Ranger, but this will allow for a turn 4 Theocracy, or sorry, turn 3 Theocracy, even if Lyco doesn't draw another land. And next turn, Lyco can just drop even more High Rock Rangers. Like, just basically just dump their entire hand. Okay, draws it to a Sunlit Cactus anyways, but... And so now we'll get the turn 2 Theocracy out here. Oh, and Sacrificial Bull is a great get off the Theocracy, because its ability to exile cards from graveyard can shut down the Thu'um engine. Unfortunately, it will not be able to stop the naturally drawn Polypools plus Profane Emissary right here. So now Chillbrain just has complete control over the board. So now Lycodrake is very much in a needs to top deck Event Horizon mode. You can buff up Sackbull into you can buff Sackbull into a 3/3, then encourage it with a High Rock Ranger to make it into a 4/4 and then trade, which is probably the best play. Or if you want to keep around the Sackbull, you can wait a turn. Oh, get a second Sackbull off the Theocracy. But I was thinking that you could also wait a turn and then High Rock Ranger to double encourage. But now that you have two Sackbulls, you really don't need to do that. You can trade one and then have the other up as like grave removal, at least from Lycodrake's perspective. Okay, Lycodrake buffing up a Sackbull and then encouraging it. But I don't think swinging in right now with the Sackbull doesn't make sense. Okay, plays another High Rock Ranger off the previous High Rock Ranger's Encourage trigger, or basically the Encourage mana, and it's just going to play out the High Rock Rangers. But again, you could have done this without wasting, quote unquote, wasting the Encourage trigger, because now can't use it on the defensive to trade with the Profane Emissary. And if Lyco just swings here, it doesn't matter for Chillbrain, because Chillbrain's just going to recoup all of it with the lifelink. I think that was a misplay from Lyco, unless I'm missing something. Chillbrain just playing a land and then passing. I'm not sure why you wouldn't just swing in with the Profane Emissary. Like, you're behind on board, so I think trying to play defensive doesn't make sense. It might just be like to gotcha with the Dovazire. But then why not just do the Dovazire when the High Rock Rangers are tapped out? I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to me. Okay, Lycodrake going to play out the last card in their hand, the Ever-Gnawing Rat. Okay, going to make a move to encourage the Sacrificial Bull. In response, if Chillbrain tries to Dovazire in response here, Lycodrake will have a window to buff up the Sack Bull with its Exile land ability, and Sacrificial Bull won't die. So this could be a huge punt from Chillbrain. Yeah, so in response to the Dovazire, just... Oh, okay, is going to kill the other Sack Bull. Okay. I guess the thought is, because this will allow Chillbrain, because of Dovazire plus Polypools, Winged Descent will actually just be 2 mana. In response, Lyco's going to sack it and then just gain 2 life. Why not? And now Chillbrain can essentially kill Lyco's only relevant blocker. Yeah. And then Lyco is left with a bunch of dorks and then an Ever-Gnawing Rat. You can double encourage one of the High Rock Rangers to make Ever-Gnawing Rat grow once, but then that doesn't really do much, and Chillbrain still has a 4/4 lifelinker that they're beating in with. Okay, in response, Lyco is going to use the High Rock Ranger's mana to exile the Dovazire, and then is going to use the other High Rock Ranger to sacrifice the bull itself. I think that using the High Rock Ranger mana here seems like a mistake, since if you hold up the High Rock Rangers, you can use them as blockers potentially if you just want to chump a Profane Emissary, or you can buff up the rat. It feels like, that feels like a waste of the mana, especially when you have your lands available. Yeah, I think Lyco should have kept up the High Rock Rangers and then either start of combat buffed up the tapped High Rock Ranger, and then made the Ever-Gnawing Rat grow, or should have just held it. There's no defensive application. So yeah, you just do that with the High Rock Ranger, and then hope that next turn you can Ever-Gnawing Rat, double encourage, trade with the Profane Emissary, and then just hope that that's the only thing that Chillbrain has. Unfortunately, Chillbrain does have, let's see, Winged Descent plus Polypools is 2, and that has 4 mana, so is 1 mana off from being able to cast his Diving Dova. Chillbrain was thinking of drawing another Polypools there, but the thing is, Polypools wouldn't even have mattered, because even though it is a land, it's not a red source. Chillbrain top decking this Draconic Divulging, though, is big, can cast it for 2 mana, and that adds another Thu'um, and potentially draws Chillbrain into a red source. Wayfarer's Shrine is a red source. You in this situation you probably discard the Draconic Divulging too, and then keep this turn you just keep up the Dovazire, and then next turn you can, oh no, discards the Wayfarer Shrine. I guess maybe the thought is you can Draconic Divulging for another red source, but that feels like a mistake unless I'm missing something. Because if you just discard the Draconic Divulging, you hold up Dovazire this turn. Then next turn you play the Wayfarer Shrine, and then you can play Diving Dova, and then get card advantage that way. So yeah, I don't think it's like, again, like, I don't think it's very difficult to make wrong choices in the Dragons deck when everything is just given to you, but I think that not taking the free ramp that also and also keeping your color fixing is definitely one of the ways to make a mistake. But I think it's probably fine. Despite mulling to 5, ChillBrain has the overwhelming advantage here, especially if Lycodrake just top decks a land. Okay, Lyco going to encourage the rat, and then it looks like encourage the rat swing in for 4. So here's the thing. I actually think that this is a mistake, and the reason I think that, okay, Dovazire is going to tag the Evergnawing Rat anyways, but then like with the information that Lyco has, I feel like you would want to double Hierarch Ranger one of the other Hierarch Rangers, buff up the rat permanently, and then in subsequent turns you can actually like add 1 damage on per attack, because you can swing for 5, and rather than swing for 4 and then actually just have the damage eaten up by the Profane Emissary. Anyways, ChillBrain top decks an island, doesn't have another red source, but will they actually be punished, or will Draconic Divulging digging 3 deep mitigate this? And it overwhelmingly mitigates it, drawing ChillBrain into essentially 3 more red sources if you count the Flooded Depths fetching a black-red duel or a blue-red duel. So it just discards the mountain. I think that this actually, like, there's no reason not to keep the mountain there and then just play that, but I guess just wants the black-red fixing. They do take 1 more damage from this, which is why it's relevant. But okay, he's gonna play the Diving Dova. Oh no, they don't take 1 damage because they have the island in the swamp. So yeah, it's just free. And then they Impulse Draw the Winged Descent to kill a Hierarch Ranger, and now get to swing for 8. ChillBrain basically has just shy of a 1 turn / 2 turn clock, and Lyco doesn't really have an answer to this. Like Crewmaster Gillo. Like, the worst part is Crewmaster Gillo can't even, like, it can get cards off the top of your library, but you really want to draw an Event Horizon here. And Gillo can't actually draw that. Still, it's better than nothing, I think, is the reality. You just have to run it. So yeah, Crewmaster Gillo coming down. And oh, that's literally the exact scenario I said. It's the Event Horizon on top that they can't draw. And yeah, with that, that's game. And yeah, despite the multi-5, I think it's just that, like, Lycodrake kind of dirtled around and only had 2 real threats, which ChillBrain was able to, or 2 or 3 real threats, and then ChillBrain was able to answer those while just putting on pressure with the 4/4 lifelink beater, and then just kind of high rolling into the perfect sequence of cards. But yeah, until next time, this is Caillou signing off.